Welcome to 10 Minutes series with the Fabulous Coach, where she helps you embrace an exceptional, healthy body, mind, and spirit with clarity and ease.
Today, we are going to talk about different kinds of birth control for women of childbearing age. We are going to be discussing what they are, what you need to know, their pros and their cons. The number one method of birth control we are going to talk about is birth control pill, a daily pill that delivers synthetic hormones each month. I have used most of these options. Rest assured that whatever you learn here is based on tried and true principles. The ones I haven't used, I make thorough research about them before I bring it to the public. So this kind of birth control pill is simple, it's convenient, and it's a way to prevent pregnancy when you don't actually need it. With correct use, it's 99% effective. With typical use, it's 91% effective. Then, the cons are numerous. The pill causes hormonal confusion, missing or irregular periods, digestive problems, skin issues, mood disruption. Birth control pills has so many disadvantages. You've probably heard that it can also make you gain weight or cause you to be moody. One of the reasons it rearranges your hormones and your systems is depending on an individual. It can cause light or heavy periods. It can cause short cycles or headaches. Now let's go to the second method of birth control. It is called the Fertility Awareness Method, also known as FAM or FAM. This is a hormonal approach to birth control designed to teach you how to recognize the signs of ovulation based on your body's signals. Let's make something very clear. Number one, you ovulate only one egg in each menstrual cycle. Number two, your egg lives for only 24 hours. Number three, sperm can live for 5 or 6 days in your uterus. Number four, your fertile window is about a maximum of 8 days. So when using this kind of birth control method, you need to abstain from sex or use additional protection during at least 8 days of your cycle. Now here is the pros. You will gain incredible insight into your hormonal health when you use this method. The cons is that it requires abstaining from sex or use of additional protection for 8 or more days. If you are someone who loves sex, you won't be having sex those days. So yeah, but it's still reasonable. I want to make something clear before we continue. Breastfeeding is not a reliable form of birth control. Remember, you ovulate before you menstruate, which means you are also fertile before you ever get your period back. So don't ever use breastfeeding as a form of birth control because it's not gonna work. It ain't gonna work. You know it. You and I know it. You don't want to become pregnant when you are not ready again, right? So another form of birth control we're going to talk about are condoms. I'm guessing that you are familiar with condoms and have used one before. But if not, these are thin, stretchy pouches that cover your partner's penis during sex so that sperm is contained and blocked from finding your eggs. If you're a woman who is not in a monogamous relationship, you will be using condoms, even if you are using birth control pills. Condoms work best when you use them properly. So ensure your partner is putting them on correctly. Before you use it, it's also smart to check their expiration date because they can expire, and ensure that there are not any tears or holes in the condoms. Otherwise, they will not do the job well. Condoms can be 98% effective when you use them properly. So another kind of birth control we're going to talk about is the one we called sponge. This is not too popular, but people use it. Sponge is like a disc containing spermicide that covers your cervix and blocking sperm from entering your uterus. You must know that sponge must be left in your vagina for 6 hours after sex, but not left in your vagina for more than 30 hours. It's 88% effective if you've... This kind of birth control is 88% effective if you've never given birth, and it is 76% effective if you have given birth. The pros is that it is easy to use and it starts working immediately, and it is also easy to remove. The cons, it is not reusable and can get expensive. It is also not as effective as other contraceptive methods. There is another birth control method called diaphragms. Diaphragms are made of flexible silicone in a dome shape that fits over your cervix. This kind of birth control are not too popular because many people do not use it. There is another one called cervical cap. This one, if you've already had a baby, then you have only a 32% chance of getting pregnant with this method. This one doesn't even work at all. If you haven't had a baby, it is about 84% effective. And then the second to the last one we have is the one called copper IUD. Copper IUD is hormone-free. It interferes with sperm movement and egg fertilization. And it can also prevent implantation of an embryo. But it must be placed in your uterus by a gynecologist, your midwife, your family doctor, or any qualified professional. It is more than 99% effective. I've used this. It is correct. It is tried. It is true. One of the good things about this one is that it doesn't have to be removed anyhow. It can stay up to 7 to 10 years because it doesn't contain any hormones. You have your regular menstrual cycle while still using copper IUD. Although you may experience an increase in flow of your menstrual cramps from the beginning, or it depends on people. It can be different for different people. The side effect is just small, but women under 25 years have an increased risk of expulsion. I have never experienced any major negative side effect from this very one. Although some women have reported copper toxicity, or it is advised that if you have any major concern, you have any problem at all, let your personal physician know this as soon as possible. And then there is withdrawal method, aka pulling out. Most women must have used this method at one time or another. You know, that pulling out method. So if you have used it, you are not alone. If you haven't used it or heard of it, so it is basically when you have sex and your partner pulls out his penis before he ejaculates. This is what this method means, withdrawal method, just as the name. But I do not recommend this pattern because anything can happen. Even a small amount of sperm can fertilize the egg of a woman who is fertile. But this can work very well if done properly, and it has worked for some people as well. So it really comes down to how much you trust your partner's agility. Sometimes it can be so comforting that your partner do not even want to come out, right? I know. So don't ever use this if you don't trust it. Personally, I'm not too comfortable with a form of contraceptive that a woman can't be in control 100%, because in my opinion, you're supposed to be the boss when it comes to that side, right? And then the very last one is called tubal ligation. Tubal ligation is a permanent form of birth control that requires surgery, which means you should consider it only if you know you absolutely don't want to have children again. This involves having your tubes tied or tubal sterilization. During this procedure, your fallopian tubes are tied or blocked, preventing an egg from traveling down or sperm from traveling up these tubes. You'll still continue to have a normal menstrual period with this one. So it is more than 99.9% effective and potentially 100% irreversible. So this means that once you do it, you've done it. It cannot be undone. I have never heard or seen anybody that was able to reverse this method. Reversal requires complicated major surgery that doesn't always work. So this is pretty much the kinds of birth control you can try, and we'll see you in the next one. We hope you have a fabulous day. Bye now.